What's up, guys? Legendary Talks, episode 111. We have the amazing DJ Cassidy tonight. We are recapping Past the Mic. I'm wearing my new favorite necklaces. They're from my new favorite website called My Perfect Mood. I'm obsessed with them and will probably wear them every day. myperfectmood.com, my new favorite website. And that's that, guys. We are going to recap DJ Cassidy's Past the Mic. He'll be on here in a moment. I'm wearing my LaToya Jackson t-shirt for him, and I can't wait to recap it. We're also going to be taking questions. What's up, Crazy Legs? Yes, LaToya. We're going to be taking questions at the end. If anybody watched it, they can, get some questions ready. So at the end, we're going to take some questions. Recapping Past the Mic, DJ Cassidy. He just joined, so we are going to go live with him in 1 second. Yes, I'm so into these new necklaces. myperfectmood.com, amazing accessories like these. I think I'm going to wear this for the rest of the year. It's perfect. It is my perfect mood. Cash, you want me to request you, or let me see. Let me get him on here. There he is. Going live with Legendary Cassidy. And my perfect mood necklace. He's having Wi-Fi. He had Wi-Fi problems last time. Anyway, how are you guys feeling? What are we drinking tonight? What's our drinking word? Hi. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, good. How are you? I wore this shirt for you, LaToya Jackson.
I love it. And I wore this for a special reason, too.
Oh, good. Amazing. Rock the bells. Yes.
This is the jacket that LL wore on Past the Mic Volume 2.
Amazing. How are you feeling?
Amazing. I'm so excited for this. We've done this every time, and I feel like it's like the best tradition, and we do it a few days after, and it's like...
Well, it's our annual Past the Mic recap, so...
It's like the best recap for me to just relive it, and, no better person to do it with than you. I like my honorary name that you said right before I came on, Legendary Cassidy. I don't mind borrowing your moniker for 60 minutes.
I only say it when I mean it, so you mean?
I love it.
So first of all, I want to say, where do I begin this one? Because for me, the biggest surprise was Ready for the World. I love them, and I love the song, and I did not see that one coming. A couple of them, I kind of knew, I had a feeling, and that one to me was my personal biggest, oh my gosh moment. So I love that one. And then I just like the flow of this. I mean, they're always great with flow, but Jody Watley opening was perfection. And to me, she sang full out. I liked that she sang full out, and she seemed extremely enthusiastic about being there. You know what I mean?
She was incredible. The bookends of Past the Mic are very important to me.
Yeah.
And that's not to take anything away from the songs that are after song one and before the last song, but the bookends, like in any DJ set, are very important. The introduction and the finale. And so you want that first song to just exude of opening, to exude of kind of the genesis of something that's about to happen. And what better song than a song that's called Night to Remember?
I agree. And I just think that she was so, like I said, singing full out and so enthusiastic about being there. I love, and first of all, sidebar, I love Jody Watley, always have since she came out till now. I think she was, in a lot of ways, really ahead of her time. She was extremely stylish in that way, and she kind of, in a lot of ways, influenced me, to be honest. She's, I had Larry Sims on here, and he said that's one of the people that influenced him most. Which I was like, oh, wow, amazing. I think she a lot of people, but she doesn't get a lot of credit. I think that about her. So.
And Jody, for those who don't know, Jody started as a Soul Train dancer at age 14. And her group Shalimar, with Howard Hewitt and Jeffrey Daniels, was put together by Soul Train founder Don Cornelius.
Yep.
So that's the other segment of why she was such a perfect artist to set the episode off. In addition to the song being called "We're Gonna Make This a Night to Remember,"
Yep.
She is the epitome of the legacy of Soul Train. Her career stems from Soul Train, and I wanted to celebrate Soul Train. You know, I wasn't a part of the award show. I came directly after. It was a separate show, but very much one night. And I wanted the music and the spirit of this show to really reflect as best I could the legacy, but more importantly, the spirit of the show.
And how was she like, you know, I'm sure she probably loved the idea. And, you know, did you know her before?
I did not. You know, we've talked about how I recruit artists, and I would say as the episodes have gone on, I know less and less of the artist, because I guess you could say I just have more confidence now to reach out to people whom I've never met. At the beginning, I was really trying just to call people whom I knew or who I knew me or my name, because it would make the conversation easier. Now, because I have a few episodes for people to see, you know, I'm a little more confident to reach out. So no, I did not know her. And she was very excited to do it. And she's just, you know, the sweetest person, and just came ready to rock. And when she broke out the fan, did you see the, I mean, I didn't know that was coming. So
she was like, boom, and then it went away. You mean? So
like, I'm doing this with her. I'm on the other side of the, you know, the computer, and it's just, get ready. And I'm like, okay. She came ready to rock.
I met her a few times. I met her at Brian Rabin's, Giorgio's, the disco party in LA. That's like, you know, makes sense. She's always there. And because she's of the culture and always has been. I think, you know, the reality is I think she's remained in a lot of ways true to her Soul Train dancer roots. You know, she's always at a party. She always has a fan. And when I met her, you know, someone introduced us like, you need to know each other. You're both fabulous. And she was exactly that. She's like, you're fabulous. We do need to know each other. She was exactly someone that would like go to our parties if she wasn't Jody Watley. Do you see what I'm saying?
Totally. And I think you can feel that spirit. Yep.
And then I had Andre Simone on here who produced, they were married, I think. He produced her solo album that was really, you know, the song that, all her hit songs. And he had a great story about going to Grammys that year. And they won, I think, some like year or something. And Michael Jackson was coming up to him to kind of talk to him about maybe working together. And then Whitney Houston came over yelling. And Michael just made a beeline. And he's like, I'm out of here. So he never got to talk to Michael Jackson, but it was a great story.
That's crazy. I mean, you know, Jody, just for those watching who don't know, you know, Jody won Grammy for Best New Artist, I think, in 1987. I mean, she has had multiple levels of her career.
And she also wore a vintage, like I think like a vintage or a thrift store dress to the Grammys and looked amazing. So it's like her on top. She's just one of us. She's really one of us in the end. I don't know her that well, but she's very one of us.
I love that.
Okay, so then, if I remember correctly, who was next? Ready for the World?
Denise Williams, Let's Hear It for the Boy.
That was another surprise for me. That was, okay, so if you would ask me that night, which a lot of times we talk that night, and I did not want to because I knew we were doing this. Denise Williams was another, like, really big surprise. Like, oh my gosh, where'd you get that from? But when I watched it again yesterday to, like, you know, kind of like refresh my memory, and I think I already knew, so it wasn't the biggest surprise, but the night of, there was a huge surprise, Denise Williams, to me, so.
So Denise was the only person on this episode who was a repeat artist. She was on my volume 1.
That's all right.
She did 'Cause You Love Me, Baby.
Yep.
The only other repeaters have been Ricky Bell and Bobby Brown. And, you know.
It should be.
Well, I feel that I like the idea of having artists back when they really transcend eras. And 'Cause You Love Me, Baby, to me, speaks to a different era of soul music than Let's Hear It for the Boy.
Yep, you're right.
One of them is at the beginning of her career. Let's Hear It for the Boy is the pinnacle of pop success. And, you know, Let's Hear It for the Boy was a #1 pop song on Billboard, like the Hot 100. #1, soundtrack to Footloose. And, you know, it was really important to me because I only had 19 and a half minutes. And within my 19 and a half minutes, there were 4 segments with commercial breaks. So this was a different format. And I had to just, like, you know, knock you out with uppercuts every song. And I really wanted every song to be a sing-along. And I wanted the songs to be songs that we all know the words to. No matter what kind of music you love and listen to at the gym, for example, I wanted you to know all these songs. And so Let's Hear It for the Boy to me was like obvious. It was a no-brainer. Had to have that song. Because it fit the genre so perfectly, but yet it transcended the genre so incredibly well.
No, it was, to me, it was, I didn't expect it. So it wasn't that obvious, but the song itself is obvious. But her being on there was like, something about it really was like, I was like, oh, whoa, that song or something, you know, it fit in perfectly. And then, so Sheila E. was another one to me, like Jody Watley, that was so ready to go, like in it to win it, you know, from the minute she came out. She was like, she was like, her intensity was like her excitement again, and you know, about doing it was at a very high level, and you felt that, you know, from the screen. And then, you know, that her and I did my birthday 2 years ago.
I was just gonna say, could you tell us just a little bit about your birthday? Because, you know, I feel very at one with your birthday celebrations, because for 10 years I did it too, and I had epic birthdays in New York City at epic locations with all these legendary artists, all of whom have now been on Pass the Mic.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when you had Sheila, and if my memory serves me correctly, you were playing her percussion. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's some epic shit.
So I have these huge, you know, anyone that doesn't know, I have these massively large birthdays every year. And I really say I do it, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I don't do it for myself. I do it for people to have like this amazing experience. So I came in on a throne. I flew up in the air, changed in the air, came back down in a different outfit, and then left the room. Then wheeled out these timbales. I started playing The Glamorous Life. That I learned the timbales for my birthday. The lights go out. She gets wheeled out, and she's looking at me like, "What are you doing? That's my song." You mean? So then we start playing together, and then, you know, I let her take over. But it was kind of like an amazing moment for me to be able to play the timbales with Sheila E. And also, I didn't get her drumstick. She throws it in the audience, and my friend got it, Natasha. Got it, and I was like, man, I've always wanted her drumstick. And she goes, "You play drums with her. It's better. Trust him." Oh, yeah,
way better. You are one of the few people in my life who I think can really relate to the feeling I have when I create Pass the Mic.
Of course.
It's a very special feeling to do something with one of your musical heroes, and you know, and you do it at your birthdays every year, from Little Kim to Sheila E. And it's a very special feeling. I don't want to ever take it for granted. I never want it to become normal. I never want to be jaded. If I ever do, remind me, please, smack me in the face, and I'll do the same to you, because
I will.
It's really a privilege and a thrill that the majority of people do not have. And that was the whole point of Pass the Mic, to kind of give people that feeling.
And you know what, you're right. I always say regarding my stuff, I'm trying to make my dreams come true. That's what I always say. But you're right. The feeling you're giving us is such a great feeling, and yeah, you're right. You're really giving. It's amazing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so then after Sheila, we're great friends. We've been friends for 2 decades. I'm never jealous of you. I support you. I am jealous of you because you had more.
Wait a minute. You skipped Ready for the World, which was after Denise, before Sheila.
I started with Ready for the World because that was the biggest surprise of the whole thing. So
okay.
We can go talk about Ready for the World. Go. What do you want?
I'm glad you brought him up at the beginning, because I feel like that's a song you love. Like when I hear "Oh Sheila," I don't know if this is true or not, I just kind of see you dancing in my mind.
Take it. Oh Sheila. No, but my thing is, that was the biggest surprise to me, and then that went right into Sheila E., right?
That went into Sheila, you know, for the obvious wordplay reasons.
But I always wondered what she thought of that song, because I always felt like that song came out around the time that Glamorous Life came out. So I don't think it's about her, but I think it was so probably annoyed her that there was a song, "Oh Sheila," that was not really about her, that was really popular around the same time. I always wonder what she thought of that song, basically.
So I don't have insight, but I have just 2 minor things. It's not about her. I asked Melvin Riley if it was. He said no. He said he messed around with other names, "Oh Lisa," and he liked "Oh Sheila." And then, you know, when I do these, when I film my segments, every artist hears what song comes before them and after them, and they hear it for the first time when I'm on with them. They don't get prepped, and no one asks, which is always mind-blowing to me. They really, you know, I guess trust me. You know, they entrust me to, you know, sandwich the music the way it needs to be weaved together. And so, you know, I get on with Sheila, we say hello, we chit-chat, I tell her what she means to me, which I do with every artist. And I say, okay, you're going to hear about 16 bars of the song before you, just for you to get in the groove. And it comes on, and she was like, it was kind of like of course, you know, like she liked it. She thought it was funny, you know. She was like, oh my God, perfect. That was the vibe I got.
No, I love Sheila E. for obvious reasons. She's one of my favorite humans, period, end of discussion. And she's like, you know, she's a very serious musician, but she's also like extremely serious about her craft, like more than most artists I know. And not that they're not, it's just that she's extremely serious about her craft. And she, but she's also in on the joke a lot of times, gets it, which I love about her, you know, so.
Yeah, she was ready to rock, as you said. She does this. She does things online. She was ready. Her setup was ready. It was her idea to play percussion. I always leave that to people if they want to add an element. You know, yep. I want people to feel comfortable. Let's relax. She said, "Do you want me to play?" And I said, "Hell yeah!"
Like, is that a real? I mean, like, is that a real question? Give me a break.
Is that a real question? Exactly.
Okay, so like I was saying, we are friends for many, many years. I always support you. I'm so proud of you, all these different things, and I'm never jealous of you. I am jealous of you after this one because I've always wanted to do me, Morris Day, and it's never happened for whatever reason, and you had Morris Day, and I was like, and Jerome, which was amazing to me, so.
Look, you know, we've done this 4 times. In some sense, I'm going to sound like a broken record. These moments are just so surreal for me. You know, you got to look at Sheila for the legend she is, and Morris Day and Jerome for the legends they are.
Yep.
And then you have to look at it contextually within the context of Prince and his legacy as well. You know, for those watching, Prince, you know, either wrote or co-wrote Glamorous Life and Jungle Love.
He wrote him.
He wrote both. I think Morris wrote Jungle Love with him. Either way, you know, these are very much Prince records as well.
Yep.
And, you know, obviously Prince will never be on my show, but this is the closest I get to interacting with him and his legacy. And I'm interacting with his legacy in the most incredible way possible because all of his artists were really successful artists and legends in their own right. And so obviously I put them together for obvious reasons. It was a Prince moment. And, you know, Morris and Jerome have such swag. Their whole thing is swag, right? The outfits, the dance moves. I mean, if you see the time today, it's a stage show really in a league of its own. They have never missed a beat in now how many decades? 3-4 decades of performing these records. The fashion, the choreography. And you saw that even on a one-on-one intimate thing from home to home. I mean, Jerome was at his pool in his backyard holding up the mirror.
You're right.
And before we did it, he's like Windexing the mirror. I'm turning my air on because it's getting hot in my house. Forgive me. But he's literally Windexing the mirror. And I'm picturing myself, not myself, I'm picturing him back in the day, like before a big show with Prince. I'm picturing him backstage, like Windexing the, you know, it's just moments like that really just smack me in the face and say like, holy shit, like somehow I'm a tiny part of this now. And that to me just, you know, will never get old. It's insane to me.
I saw Morris Day in the Time at BB King's before it closed a couple years ago, and it was one of the best live shows. Such a tight, great live show. It was amazing. And we were total groupies. We were like, you know, actual groupies, like screaming, like, yeah, you know. And then I'm getting the order wrong, but I'm just going to go off of now. So to me, the feel-good moment, I guess the warm and fuzziest moment was Alicia Myers to me. That was great because I don't think I've ever seen her live in any capacity, like not on a show or anything. And obviously we all know that song. We've danced that song our whole life. So like, you know, something about that moment to me, I felt the words of that song. Like I felt the way that the things that she's thinking about is how that song made me feel. So how was it for you?
The same. You know, that's why I said to her at the beginning of the song, I said, it's been a crazy year, right?
Yep, you're right, you did.
Because when we think of the lyrics of a song, you know, they make us feel different ways. And, you know, to El DeBarge, which I'm sure we'll get to, I said, welcome to the celebration. Because my feeling was, all right, I've been celebrating for 27 minutes. You're going to bring it home. Welcome to the celebration, El. And he goes, let's celebrate. But to Alicia, I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for shining your light on me, right? How many parties have we been to where a DJ played that and we all sang the words?
Every party we've ever been to, basically.
Every party where the DJ is playing R&B music of the 70s and 80s, that's a peak of the party record. That's like Before I Let Go. That's like Never Too Much. That's like September. And I did want that song. I did really want that song because I really think it spoke to the year.
Yep.
I think it spoke to the times, to the spirit of the moment. And I think there are many people like you who had never seen Alicia perform the song or never seen a video of the song. And so I think it was a really great moment for people to see the person who's been singing this song that we've been singing our whole lives at the party.
And for me, like I said, Ready for the World was definitely the surprise. And Alicia was, like I said, the warm, fuzzy moment of the whole thing. And there was a lot of great moments, but that's, for me personally, that the Alicia moment made me feel like that song, you know, exactly. And then something else that I thought was really great and interesting, cameo, in the fact that, you know, I heard the words to that song kind of more differently. Like, I guess because you're, you know, something about that song in your...
Me too.
I heard the words in a different way. And then now I've been watching old cameo videos and stuff ever since that. So they kind of sparked this new intrigue with me because of that. So
there's a few people that always just kind of nail like nuances of this. Run DMC. I always speak to him within the week after a show comes out. Not necessarily right after. He always ends up calling me later in the week, and he always hones in on like a nuance. And Dougie Fresh is another, and Michael Bivins is another, and you are another. The four of you.
Great company. All my bros.
You are, not only are you dead on, but I felt the same way. And I said to my girlfriend Kelsey several times, I experienced this song differently now.
Yep.
You not only learn the parts in a different way, you see the intricacies of the parts, but then you experience the lyrics differently, you listen differently. That tends to happen more when there's more than one person in a song and you see how the song weaves. But that song in particular, because it's not like each person does a verse, it's actually very intricately weaved together.
Woven, yeah. But you know something else too? It's not a music video. They're not like all done up, and it's also not a live performance. It's in a lot of ways it's stripped down, so it's really just them and the words. There's not a lot of distractions. That's what it is too, I think. You mean so?
It's interesting you say stripped down. I never thought about this till right now. It's kind of like an unplugged, but not unplugged. Remember MTV Unplugged?
Yep.
It's MTV Unplugged, for those who don't know, was this incredible show in the 80s and 90s, and it was like the biggest act at the moment, just with a band. So it was no electric guitar, it was acoustic guitar, it was a Rhodes piano instead of a keyboard. It was like all acoustic, and it was this epic show that MTV ran for years. This, of course, is like the turntable version of Unplugged. There's like nothing to it. There's no mic, there's no lights, there's no band, there's no stage.
Remember LL Cool J's Unplugged? I thought his was amazing because he might have been one of the first rappers to ever do it. His was amazing.
I think he was the first, and I think the only. I think he was the only until Jay-Z did it.
I remember his Knock You Out, like, as a child, like it was yesterday.
It was absolutely epic. The way he looked was iconic. Just the whole presentation became iconic. Shout to LL, thanks for this. And shout to Claudine and
Claudine Joseph.
And Jay-Z's Unplugged in 2001 with the Roots as the band was epic.
And then Mary J. Blige, I remember too, in the late 90s. Hers was amazing as well. But Casey, I think, Loving You.
Uptown Unplugged. It was Andre Harrell's show.
We were young. Okay, so then I'm just doing it off of like memory, not probably in order, but correct me. But so Lisa Lisa to me is kind of something I expected, I think. But Lisa Lisa to me is like it's like the blueprint. Like to me personally, Lisa Lisa, you can't go wrong. She always delivers. She was amazing to me. Like you couldn't have not had her. If you didn't
I
have
remember when she performed at, I think, your Baby I'm a Star party at the first venue. What was the first venue?
RD.
RDV.
Yep. And
Yep, I was there.
I remember you being there. It was a snowy night, and so it was a really snowy night in New York, and we had Lisa Lisa performing. I think it was our 2-year anniversary, and it was like only the real one showed up. Only the real New Yorker showed up because it was snowing, which I prefer it that way anyway. So it was like a room full of like all of us, and she was supposed to do 3 songs. I think we were contracted her for 3 songs, and she ended up doing like 7 or more, and she was like could not have been better. Like she was amazing to like deal with and work with, and she was just so like lovely, but Lisa Lisa, like this icon. But getting back to your thing, she to me, I did kind of expect her if I'm being honest, but the reality is if you didn't have her, I would have been like, yo, that was whack. You didn't have Lisa. Like you need Lisa. She's everything, you know?
Well, Full Force, the iconic R&B group from the 80s and 90s, also known for being the bullies in the movie House Party.
Yep.
They wrote and produced all Lisa's hit records.
Yep.
And so Bow-Legged Lou from Full Force has become a very, very dear friend of mine. He was actually one of my talent coordinators on the BET special.
Wow.
Because he had helped me so much on the episode prior, just for the love. And he always said to me, when are you going to have Lisa? You need Lisa. And when I decided what kind of, category to focus on for this episode, I called him right away. I was like, let's get Lisa. And Lisa, I did on the first day. And I'll tell you why. I wanted someone who I knew would be an immediate connection. And I knew because of Bow-Legged Lou and she was from New York, I just felt like it would be an easy one. And it was. It was like,
well, she's
like this.
Kind of like the ultimate crowd pleaser too, in the way that everybody loves her in that song, of course, So I have a funny story about, I did a Kangol store opening in Harlem a couple years ago, and we booked Roxanne Shante, and I think her and same manager, and so we had Roxanne perform, and she did this amazing thing, which she's just so like old school in a great way. She shut it down when she performed, and then she went around. It was her last song, and she went around and did her song in the audience and took selfies with everybody the whole song, and then just went right out the door. She's like, "I'm out of here." Like I ain't taking no pictures. I'm during the performance, and then I'm leaving. She was amazing.
I love that. I love that. She has a show on Rock the Bells on Sirius, and I talk to her as well after every episode, and she's really incredible and has been an incredible supporter of the show.
She's awesome. I love her. I have my Roxanne Rock the Bells t-shirt. Which one do you have?
Oh, I don't know. I have so many Rock the Bells shirts. I'm sure I have that one too. I'm very excited about my new jacket.
Shout out to Crazy. He has one. I love your jacket as well. Okay, so then again, we're going out of order, but I'm just going by memory. So Shannon was on. And that was another one I guess I wouldn't have expected, I guess. Also,
wait, who?
And then
Who did you say?
Shannon, Let the Music.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would have expected that one. That was a great one and a really
You did expect or did not expect?
Did not. That was a smart choice, that one. And then I saw this documentary on Shannon, which was great. And she is credited as being the first freestyle artist. Did you know that?
She is 100% credited as the first freestyle artist. And that song, I must say I am guilty of reading the Wikipedia. I say guilty because I like to pride myself that I know all the information, but I recently read the Wikipedia on Let the Music Play. It's fascinating. They were the first to use certain machines that went on to be the machines of the day.
Yep.
And that song really became a breakdance record. It was very important to R&B freestyle and to the hip hop scene. And it's, one of those records. There's not many of those records. There's there's a dozen or 2 dozen records that really changed the game. And that was a game changing song. And of course, that's why I coupled those songs together, freestyle.
Well, Lisa, credits Shannon as someone she looked up to. And she said, if Shannon can do it, I can do it. I know that. So
I love that.
And then I think also the song, it created that whole sound, you know, then going forward. So, you mean?
Right. Yeah. Game changer.
And then, so the next thing I remember, I'm missing something, is Shaka, which Shaka was perfection. And the reality is, it's freaking Shaka Khan. I'm like, this is insane. It's Shaka freaking Khan. You mean? I'm like, you know, in the fact that, like, you know, Shaka's in all of them, I think that's the biggest, like, icon in the whole thing. But she fit in so perfectly in a great way. You know, it wasn't like Shaka Khan and everybody else. In a really strange way, she fit in, although she's like a huge icon. It made tons of sense, and I loved it. You mean? And she was perfection.
All these records, although they wouldn't have been put in a category together necessarily then, they became part of a category as the years went on.
Yeah.
And they became part of that category, in my humble opinion, through DJs. Because DJs played those records together, they became part of an R&B category that united these songs. These songs all would have been different genres, right? Freestyle, we just mentioned. Funk, we'll talk about that one. R&B pop, soul, you know, but because throughout the years, DJs have played these songs together, they became part of almost a new genre. And when you say that's why she fits so perfectly, that is why she fits so perfectly, because DJs have kind of formed this, I'll give an analogy, this quilt. You know, we've weaved this quilt, and I'm not responsible for that. When I was coming up as a DJ, I studied other DJs, and they were playing these songs together. You know, that's how all these episodes are. These episodes are just crates of mine that I used to bring to parties, record crates. But to talk about Shaka for a minute, look, you know, there's not many words that I can use to accurately explain what it feels like to be essentially FaceTiming. That's what it all is, right? It doesn't matter if it's a feed, a laptop, a phone, whatever. You're basically FaceTiming with these artists. To be FaceTiming with Shaka Khan for an hour while she sings over Ain't Nobody while I'm ad-libbing is the craziest thing. When I watch that back,
yeah,
and she's doing the bridge, and I'm filling in the blanks, and I go, Shaka, arms around me, can you feel it tonight? And I'm like, I watch it back. Like last night, you know, I recorded it, you know, on my TV. And my girlfriend laughs. She's like, oh my God, you're watching yourself again. But I can't get over that it was on TV, you know?
Watch it. Forget that. Watch it 2 times a day. You mean, it was, I've listened to it even like walking, you know, cleaning around my house and stuff. I've listened to it a couple times already. I mean, I've watched it twice and I've listened to it several times. It's a great mix.
I went on my list, you know, like it has list on Spectrum and DirecTV. I went on list to see if the new episode of The Reagans was out, the Showtime documentary on Ronald Reagan. And under The Reagans, it says DJ Cassidy passed the mic. And I can't get over it because that's the only 2 things I've recorded like all month.
Well, no, I went to O'Neill and Miriam's to watch it, and it was like, you know, every, you know, all the TV shows, it said DJ Cassidy's passed the mic, and we were like, this is insane. It was amazing.
It's insane. I don't think it's normal. I think it's insane. And so I turned it on last night, and I'm watching myself like ad-lib with Shaka Khan. And I still say to myself, like, is this woman letting me do this? Like, that's still my feeling. Like, did she let me do that? Not did she do the show, right? Okay, people said yes to do the show. Then when I'm on, I keep waiting for someone to tell me, like, can you not talk over me? But no one says it. And I'm like still in awe that I get away with doing that.
They will. No, I agree.
They will.
You should like, love you, boo. Stop talking. Yeah, but that you mean. And then for me, so the ending, obviously, first of all, I think DeBarge is probably one of my favorite groups, or my favorite group. I love DeBarge so much. If ever my always go-to home listening is Best of DeBarge, always. I love DeBarge so much.
Me too.
So to end with DeBarge, to me, perfection again, and such a great ending. And that song in particular, which is from Last Dragon, you know, and again, kind of really happy to be there. You know, I saw him perform, I would say about 5 years ago, and he was amazing, hitting the notes, everything. And he just seemed really, really happy to be there. I mean, really grateful to be there, I thought.
I wanted that song to close the show from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it took a minute. He was not one of the
yeah.
He was not one of the first people to join.
Yeah.
And I could not have been happier that he did. That song to me needed to be the finale. It's a song that makes you picture everyone dancing in the streets. It makes you feel like, you know, like you're at a carnival and people are celebrating and the lights are twinkling, and it exudes the feeling of celebration.
Well,
and
those are the words of the song. It's a celebration. You know what I mean? Like, you know what else is like that? I just said the Kool and the Gang is similar to that. The Kool and the Gang song also makes you literally celebrate, although it's in the song. You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, that's the ultimate, you know, celebration.
I think I say this every time, but I think this was my favorite one. I think, you know, right now, this is my favorite one, but I like the hip hop one and this one. I like them all, to be honest. Obviously, I love them all, but currently right now, this may change. This was my favorite one, I think. So, and this one also had a different flow to me. The flow was a little something, you know, like, I don't know if it was quicker or what it was. It was a different flow, and I don't know. I love this one.
Well, I do think that Pass the Mic is like sneakers. You always like your newest pair the best.
100% agree.
And people, you know, it's my number one question. You know, who is your favorite artist, or what's your favorite episode? I don't have a favorite. They're all special to me in unique ways. The songs all hold special places in my heart in unique ways. You know, there's been one episode that was hip hop. We all know that you know, that's my heart and soul. That's my foundation. That one holds a special place that can never be touched. All these songs have that. They all have something special to me. The artists are all special to me. I don't look at it like, can you top it? I really look at it like, can I recreate the same emotions? Not can I top it? I don't want to top it. I just want to recreate the emotions. I want to recreate that feeling of taking you back to a special place. I want to recreate the feeling of celebration in a relatively uncelebratory time.
Yep.
And as long as I can do that, I don't feel I need to top it. I just feel I need to continue it. Well,
something I was going to ask you is, you know, there's a pressure involved with all this. When I do my birthdays, you know, there's a ton of pressure, and everyone says every year, they say, how are you going to top yourself next year? How are you going to top yourself next year? And I say, I'm not worried. I have a very creative mind. But the thing for me is, I don't try and top myself. I try and do a great party every time. I never try and top myself. I try and do it like the highest level, great thing I can do every time. And it's not about doing bigger and better. It's about doing great every time. So I feel the same thing probably with you, unless, do you feel a pressure about topping yourself? No, right? You just said it.
No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. Right? If I DJ for a 2-3 hour set,
yep.
Right? Do I feel that there's like 20 songs that I play in those 2 hours that are like so much more powerful than the other 100 I play, that after those 20, it's all downhill? No. This is all about the songs. There is a never-ending supply of iconic songs that have affected our lives. And depending on who you are, those songs will affect you differently. If you're a hip-hop kid who grew up in the late 80s or early 90s, that volume 2 is going to affect you differently. If you're, you know, an Earth, Wind, and Fire fan, and they're your favorite group, and you know, you have a connection to them, then the volume 1 is going to touch your soul right away. The great thing about these records, which I have found, and I've always said this, Damon, and I try to prove this with every step of my career, is I think these songs are not only unbound by era and category, I think they're more unbound by era and category than we give them credit for. And I think what I try to show with Pass the Mic, although this wasn't why I started it, but it's it's a side benefit. It's a peripheral, result, is that it gets to prove how universal and timeless these songs and artists are, because everyone watching knows the words to Hip Hop Hooray.
Yep.
Everyone knows End of the Road.
Yep.
Everyone knows Let's Hear It for the Boy. Everyone knows Ain't Nobody.
Well, it's kind of like true art, and I mean art as, you know, in the broadest word, true art in any capacity lives on forever, like forever. So all these songs are true art. So, you know, they're true. So that's why they'll live on literally forever. You mean, so.
Agreed.
Wait, so let me ask you a couple of questions now. So you like.
Oh, wait, Damon.
What?
Before we do that, can we just talk about George Clinton?
Yes, please go. Well, yes, George Clinton. First of all, George Clinton looked very demure for him. I was like, that George Clinton looked very understated. You mean?
I mean, I can't finish the list without talking about George Clinton.
Bad.
I mean, like, this is George Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic.
You're right. You're right.
This is not normal to be on the phone with George Clinton. I hadn't thought about George Clinton in my initial list because to me he's so of another world.
Yep, literally otherworldly, you know.
He's otherworldly.
Yep.
And, you know, he's Parliament Funkadelic. He's the mothership. He's One Nation Under a Groove. And you know, I was focusing on this era of the first half of the 80s. Because to me, it really spoke to Soul Train. It really spoke to Celebration.
Yep.
And I think it really was like an epitome of R&B music, kind of dominating the pop charts in a way that created these records that generations and generations would sing forever.
Yep.
And it was also a transition time in the music where machines started to be incorporated. When I say machines, I mean synthesizers, drum machines. The music was changing.
The hand clap.
Yeah. Yes. And so speaking of the hand clap, you know, the snare on Atomic Dog is the foundation of West Coast hip hop. I think Atomic Dog might be the most sampled song in hip hop history. George is 81 years old. I was on the phone with him for an hour that day, and he was listing every song that had sampled him. I mean, he knew it like, you know, like Wikipedia. And
for him, as he should, you mean?
And when I'm on with George Clinton, and I'm singing, bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay, bow wow yippee yo yippee yay, and he's going, hey, and I'm going, bow wow wow
yo yippee yay.
You know, people often ask me what's the most surreal moment. I try not to rank them. I will tell you that's top 3. That doesn't get more surreal than singing along to Atomic Dog with George Clinton.
I think in like 5 or 10 years, you know, there's going to be a lot. You're going to have a lot of 3 surreal. There's going to be the whole thing is going to seem surreal. I think in like 5 or 10 years too. I think you're in it right now. You're in the middle of it, so you're just kind of doing it and producing and all these different things. I think there's going to be so many more surreal moments, like, you know, that have happened in the last 4 episodes that you're just like, you haven't even processed yet. That's what I really think. So,
by the way, I love how we don't talk right after it airs, because I tell you this every time. There's a few people whose feedback I want, and I know you don't give it because we're doing this, and I look forward to talking to you because you so love this music, you know, and it's always a thrill to finally then, you know, talk to you.
But I did the first time, hit you up immediately because I was extremely enthusiastic. And I think I hit you up after the hip hop one too. But then, you know, I want to hit you up, but now we're saving it for our talks. That's why I know you get it. That's why I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do want to talk about you amazingly turned this into a TV show, like in the course of 6 months, which is like miraculous, incredible, amazing. You know, all of our peers, all of us, you know, the DJs, all of the me's of the world. Well, I'm an original. The me and then the others. We, you know, so cheering you on from the sidelines, I'm sure you know. But how is this one, which is so amazing? Congratulations! I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you, as you know. But how is this one? How did it feel different because it was on TV for you? First, how did it feel different?
it felt different. That's really.
But what? Why? Like what?
Well, when you're sitting on your couch watching your show on television, and there's commercials for like products that are being sold.
All right.
It's just a different feeling, Damon. It's just a different feeling. Let me tell you, this BET special aired 4.5 months after Volume 1 premiered.
Congratulations. That's amazing. I'm really happy for you. Really proud of you.
Thank you. Never in my wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Never.
But
4.5 months.
But my question.
Never.
I'm sorry to cut you off. My question to you is, the reality is it's relatively produced the same, right? So I want to know what felt different. Like, you knew it was on TV, so was it more pressure, whatever the word is? What felt, because the reality is, to me, it looks the same as the other ones. So it just happened to be on a television. So I'm saying, when you were making it as opposed to watching it, what felt different?
Yeah, well, the only difference was the cameras were high definition cameras. So if anyone's interested as to the physical difference, there were cameras that cost a lot of money as opposed to whatever camera you have in the house. The method of shooting it, the actual method, was the exact same. So, I don't give away the secret sauce of how I put it together, but the show was literally shot the same way. I communicated with the artists the same way. They heard the music the same way, what they're hearing in their headphones same way. We're talking the same. It is the same. You were watching the HD version of the same exact show. What feels different is that you're watching it on television.
Yeah.
I can't actually think of a more poetic way to put it.
Yeah.
There is a different feeling to watching it on a platform that's online where you post it, and watching it on a primetime award show night on a network you've been watching your whole life. Also, remember, like many of us, I grew up watching Video Soul, Rap City, Soul Train. So it was those 3 shows that defined my musical heroes. And then to be part of this night, this epic BET night, this epic Soul Train night, was an honor. It hits a little different when those commercial breaks happen. It feels like it's hitting the world, in a different way. I'll be honest with you. I think the effect is the same.
Yeah.
I don't think it changes the effect. I read the comments, and the comments are beautiful. Yeah. And I've gone back and read the comments on the first 3 again, because now there's more comments, because people who discovered me for the first time are now discovering the first 3. Many people saw 4 as the first.
Of course.
So I read these comments, and really, I got to be honest with you, I think the only difference in the TV show is that it feels different for me. For the viewer, I'm gathering from the comments, the effect, the emotional effect of the music and the connection to the artist is the same. And that's the key to me. It doesn't matter if I'm doing it myself as a one-man show from the living room, or if there's people helping me out, with the production, to bring it to TV. It's the same show. And to me, I'm concerned less about my excitement, oh my God, it's on television, and just more concerned, is it hitting the people the same? And from what I see on the comments, it is. It is.
I can be an extreme, I've seen all 4 and experienced all 4, and this one felt great. This did feel larger in a weird way too. You're right, because I was watching it on the television. But I want to, so how does it really, really feel? Like I said, I want to know how it really feels to create something out of such purity, out of such love and admiration and respect for the music and the culture, and then to, within 4 months, create such an amazing thing that got so that it's now on television. How does that really make you feel, though, for real? Like, it's such an amazing thing.
It's the greatest feeling that I've had in my entire career.
Amazing.
And I mean that.
I believe you.
And I'm not saying that for dramatic effect. You know me.
Yep.
And I'm an overthinker, and I'm a planner.
Yes, you are.
And this was not that.
Yeah, this is pure. This is so pure. Like, you know, I do know you well, but I think even if I didn't know you well, I feel the purity of Pass the Mic, not even DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic, just Pass the Mic as a thing. I feel the purity, and I think everyone does. It resonates really well, you know, and admiration for the culture and the people. You mean? So
the fact that I've created a show, whether digital, television, or other, doesn't matter for the sake of this part of the conversation. The fact that I've created a show whose goal is to celebrate our musical heroes and as a result uplift other people in a trying time.
yes,
Is the fact that that show has become what it has become is very surreal and fills me with pride. I'm very proud of it, and I think I'm more proud of it than anything I've ever created, because I really, unlike other things we do professionally, didn't have a professional plan for this. It was really something that I created to A, stay creative, B, stay active in the world with music.
yep,
And 3, at a time where I thought people really needed to be celebrated.
yep,
People fighting for our lives in hospitals, people risking their lives at protests when it was the least safe time to be at one, people fighting for other people.
Well,
And I thought it would be...
I just interject. My actual real favorite part of Pass the Mic, I thought about this today, is that you dedicate it to the heroes on the front lines, which I want to make sure people remember that part, because you've done it every time. And I think that's, to me, that, you know, is such an important part of it all. And I don't want that part, because you do it every time. I don't want that part to get pushed aside because Shaka Khan's on. You see what I'm saying? There's such a real all of that. You mean? So
I think 2020 in many ways has been a disaster. We'd all agree. But 2020 has also been a year in which heroes were born. And, you know, you live in LA like me, and we lived in my hometown of New York for many years. And you know, we watched these protests, right? At a time when we weren't supposed to be congregating in groups of 5. And that's a very brave thing when there's a killer virus out there. And we watch nurses and doctors risk their lives. And, you know, I don't have a means to pay all these people back in many ways. And what I have is music and the delivery of music. And I also realized that what was keeping people afloat this year was music.
for sure.
And so this idea came to me just with a very simple concept of, could I connect people to their musical heroes in an intimate way so that they would feel the calm that I feel when I'm on the phone with one of my musical heroes.
Yep.
Because when I'm FaceTiming with Verdine White of Earth, Wind & Fire, which is what spawned the idea, I've told you that story, that brings me a calm. When I'm on the phone with Dougie Fresh or Rev Run, there's it's surreal, but it's also a certain calm, because they're like the ultimate mentor and hero. And I wanted to give people that feeling. And so the concept was simple: celebrate my musical heroes to pay homage to the heroes around the world. And in answer to your question, how does it feel that has become this? It just feels amazing. You know, I don't have a more poetic way to put it. It's probably the greatest feeling that I've ever had for anything I've created in my career. And I'm really proud of the fact that it has brought people a lot of joy. And I get really emotional reading the comments on YouTube, because the comments are really emotional. They talk about coronavirus, and they talk about 2020, and they talk about you know, people who they know having succumbed to the virus, and they talk about these episodes bringing them life.
Yeah.
And to me, that's beyond my wildest comprehension.
Yeah. Yeah, you're bringing joy, but you're bringing joy that you should be so proud of yourself, but there's such a purity about what you set out to do and what you're doing that, you know, it's only, all it can do is bring joy and bring positivity and be successful. So, you know, there's such a, like I said, a pureness and an authenticity and an adoration towards these people in the culture. It just resonates with people, I think. It does bring them joy. So it brings me joy. So
I'm just want to say, I want to add one thing to that, you know, it's really an honor that 106 legendary artists have honored me with their presence.
Wow, amazing. I agree. Good for you.
I say this with the utmost sincerity.
Yep.
In many ways, I feel like I've been getting too much praise because the show really has very little to do with me. I'm a messenger.
Yeah.
I came up with a, you know, cool way to deliver something in a new way.
Yeah.
But we're not tuning in to see me. We're tuning in to see the artist. And 106 individuals said yes to participate in this show. And there is no show without the 106 legendary, iconic artists. The show is them. I'm literally just the messenger.
It's true. I'm not tuning in to see you. That's true. You're right.
I know. I know you're not.
I want to ask you something else. So out of all 4 episodes, what are some of the standout moments off the top of your head? Like, you know, either something was a little hectic or something was like, someone was extra amazing. What are just a couple out of all 4? You mean? George Clinton being one of them, you said, like something like that.
It's so hard. I can just tell you, I'm just going to tell you a few at the top of my head. The few that probably stand out immediately are the artists that I have long-lasting relationships with. Because to me, it's very much full circle moments.
Yeah.
When I get on with Tretch and Vinny of Naughty by Nature, I don't think anyone realizes by the way, it's Tretch's 50th birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Tretch.
Happy birthday, Tretch. When I was a child, Tretch was my idol. I wanted to be Tretch. I thought he was the coolest person to ever walk the earth. I literally looked up at him like with open eyes. And my parents were kind enough to take me to Naughty by Nature shows at a time when many parents were scared of hip hop shows. And I was like a groupie, and they knew me as a little kid that went to these shows, and I've known them since I'm 10.
Yeah. And
so when I do Pass the Mic with them and I move the fader and Tretch is singing it a cappella, low down, being low down, I do the show round with every little hoe round. Oh no, and you believe it. And then he builds up and I go, Nakas, I hate you. And the beat comes back in. I mean, that's the 10-year-old me. And, you know, I had that same feeling with Run and DMC and MC Search, who I've known since I was a child, who was producing my demo when I was a kid trying to be a rapper. And so, you know, this is not, look, they're all equal in their own way. But these moments that I have with people that have known me since I was a child have a different kind of special.
Yeah, I understand. And I've said this many, many times on the show, basically the entire time. Swiss Beats said it at the very beginning of the first 2 weeks. He said, isn't it amazing that it immediately went right back to DJs and music where it always, and it's so true. Like, you know, D-Nice got nominated for Time Magazine's Person of the Year with Dr. Fauci and these like incredible people. So
and he deserves it.
Something about this year, you know, everyone got stripped of a lot of things in a good way, and it got back to the core, which is like the DJ and music and people like, you know, Emma West is doing what you're doing, what I'm doing. You know, it got so much more focused on real. You mean? And then also, Lynn Whitfield called me, and we're cool, but we never talked on the phone before. She called me in the beginning, and she said, you know, I just want to check on you. I know that, you know, parties aren't happening. Are you okay? And she said something very important, and this is like beyond the truth. She said only the real and only the authentic will thrive during this time. And she told me at the beginning, like, she's absolutely right. And that's exactly what's happening. If you think about it, you mean?
You know, people who supply music to the world are always going to be the healers, because music really is a healing force. And it might sound cliche because we've heard it our whole lives, but music is the universal language. It's a language of love. It's a language of healing. It's a language of celebration. And it really was one of the few things this year that was able to maintain some kind of normalcy.
Wait, I have to interrupt really quick. The legendary Apollonia is on. Shout out Apollonia, we love you.
Yo, Apollonia, I just want to tell you, I was trying to get in contact with you for this version of Pass the Mic, and I wasn't able to. So we got to talk about a future version.
We love you, Apollonia. Icon.
Icon.
Okay, so I know you're gonna not answer this question, but if I have to, if you have to say something that inspires you to pass the mic, obviously you said Verdine and that, but what's one thing that you could say inspires you to do pass the mic continually?
Well, I think what's inspiring me to continue at this point, to be very specific, are the comments I read on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
Right.
It's a very straightforward answer, but I don't want to sound overly poetic by saying something else. I read these comments every night when I get in bed, and they blow me away. They blow me away. I'm so honored by the reception. And again, I really feel the comments should all be directed towards, the artists. It's their songs that bring the joy to this show.
Right.
It's their songs that bring the emotion. It's their songs that bring the celebration. It's their songs that bring the spirit. And these comments would have me doing this for life.
And, you keep saying this, which I think is exactly part of the success of it, is it's really not about you. You are facilitating, bringing joy to people through having all pass the mic, literally. So it really isn't about you, which I think is part of the success, and that's why it is doing so well. Because you are very understanding that. In a great way. So, not saying it's about me because it's so successful, and it's really is about the music. So.
It's all about the music. The songs are what makes the show. The songs are what allow me to choose the sequence. It allows me to create the emotion, and the songs are what hold a special place in people's heart, which really is at the foundation of the emotional reaction to the show.
I want to ask you a couple more questions. I'm going to see if people watching have any questions for you. But
wait, are we going over? Are you allowed to go over an hour now?
You are now, yeah. They switched it.
Wow.
I don't know how, but you can go over. So,
I know, I'm ready to rock. I was like, I couldn't believe you weren't trying to rush. I like this.
No, yeah. I learned that, yeah, you can go longer than an hour now. So, switching it up a bit, 5 best parties of all time. All time.
5 best parties that I DJ'd of all time?
Doesn't matter. 5 best parties of all time, period.
Well, I'm going to make it ones I DJ'd.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a more straightforward answer. Barack Obama's second inauguration.
That's a good one.
Party was at the White House. It was black tie. Every actor, singer, rapper, senator, congressman, secretary of state, et cetera, you could ever imagine in one room, 400 people. If you're looking at the White House, it's the last window on the left, just so you can picture it. Walk in the front door, and you walk past the blue room and the red room, and it's the room to the left. And it doesn't get any more surreal.
Who performed?
What?
Who performed? Nobody, maybe? It doesn't have to be a performer. It doesn't have to be. Maybe.
Well, hold on. So Janelle and Stevie were his 50th.
Got it.
Beyonce was Michelle's 50th. Prince was random night, not for any occasion.
Yep, sounds about right.
Did I ever tell you about my night with Prince at the White House?
No, please tell me.
But I don't think anyone, maybe no one performed. Am I blanking?
That's okay. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. But literally, I just want to finish this. This was a full-on party, okay? For everyone watching, I know you've been at Damon's parties, probably been to some of mine. When I tell you a party, 400 people rocking till 4 in the morning, and I'm just, Swizz and Alicia were there. And Swizz jumped on stage with me to rock the mic with me for a few minutes. And the whole place is jumping.
Yep.
And we look to our right, and we see this centuries-old portrait of George Washington looking down. And we looked at each other, and we said, I'm trying to think of the exact words. Well, we looked at the
White House right now. Snitches, you mean?
We looked at that painting.
Yep.
And we were like, do you think he's watching? And it was just a surreal moment. And it was really a monumental moment. It was a monumental time, for the history of the country and the world.
And the culture.
Yeah. And just to be a part of that celebration in some musical way. And the funny part about that is, Damon, I would bring in my sound for those parties. So my sound guy provided the speakers for Beyonce and Prince and Stevie. It was always my sound guy. And we literally were blowing the roof off the White House to the point where the curator of the house, who's like in charge of making sure the paintings are safe, he's there through presidents. He's not hired by the president. He couldn't handle when I was...
Yeah, gosh, Cassidy's coming back. You mean?
He couldn't handle when I was coming back. So after the second inauguration, the George painting was boarded up.
All right, hold on. We're going to do questions in between parties. Okay.
Okay, wait. Did you hear that punchline?
No, what'd you say? I missed it. Sorry, I was reading the question.
The next party I DJ'd after the second inauguration, the George painting was boarded up.
Exactly. They're like, screw this. These wild. These guys are too wild. So wait, this person says, how many takes does it usually take for each artist? That's a good question.
I record 3 to 5 takes, and I pick the best one. I don't edit.
Yeah.
And it's that simple.
This is a good question. I think I know the answer to this. Do you pick the songs or the artists pick the songs?
I pick the songs 100%. The artist ask me, oh, look, I can see the questions now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, can I tell you a quick story about one song choice?
Sure.
LL says to me, what song do you want to do? And I say, I want to do Radio. And he goes, huh.
Yeah.
And he goes, interesting. And I say, why? And he says, well, I would have thought that you'd want Mama Said Knock You Out or Doing It or Around the Way Girl. And he said, if you don't mind me asking why. And I said, L, you could be on 4 versions of hip hop past the mic, spanning decades, right? I'm setting this episode off with Sucker MCs. I want to tell a story from them. It won't be completely chronological. It'll be roughly chronological. I might cheat a little, but it's going to tell a story. And Sucker MCs and radio to me were the beginning of a new era.
Yep.
And I want to tell that story with you doing your first single that you did in Crush Groove.
Yep.
And I'm so grateful that he did that.
No, I got that when you did the hip hop one, starting with Run DMC, which were amazing, the openers, and I got that you were doing this kind of like chronological thing. And it resonated. It was perfection. Hold on, I had a good question. Where to go? Goldfinger. I can't. Oh, here it is.
Wait, is that DJ Goldfinger?
DJ Goldfinger, Legendary.
Legendary. Goldfinger played such an important part of my career. The first Puffy party ever DJ'd was with Goldfinger. I was so nervous to share a DJ booth with him. I was probably so whack. I probably had the worst transitions of my life that night, and I'll thank him forever for allowing me to rock and supporting me at the beginning and believing at the beginning.
He's a great, first of all, he's probably the best DJ I know personally. Realistically, no offense to anybody included. He's the blueprint, I think, for all of our generation, number one. And he's the first DJ I actually really connected with, and that shaped my relationships with every DJ after that. Then I started really connecting with every DJ I worked with closely from that point on. So, and he and I just have always gotten along. So.
All right, so Goldie is asking wish list guest.
Yes, that's a good question.
Stevie Wonder.
Yes, good answer. Hold on. What's this one? Who's your favorite singer, male?
Do we think they mean ever or on the show? Ever?
Yeah, I would say ever.
Well, my favorite singers of all time are Sam Cooke and Michael Jackson.
Okay, female.
Wow, female is tough. Female is tough. I will tell you one of my favorite female singers of all time is Shaka Khan, and I'm not saying that because she's on the latest edition. Just, you know, there's no one like Shaka, and the catalog. I mean, there's no catalog like that.
I can't. This one is long. I can't see the end of it. You're only allowed to put so much. She said.
So Kendra says, which artist would you have in your next show? Well, that one question, Kendra, I'm not going to answer because I'd be giving away the theme of the next show. So you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's always a surprise. Ever. Okay, hold on. Well, this one says, and I kind of like this. This is, I don't know who this is, but I like that question.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Look, I'm doing great. It was an exciting week. What was that person's name? I missed it.
I missed it too. Hold on.
Look, it was whoever asked that.
Super something.
Super blessed lady. This was a very exciting week. I was feeling super blessed, as your name says. And I'm just really grateful this week. It's such an amazing feeling to do something that pays homage to your idols and for people to react.
This is a good question. I like this one a lot. You see it?
Well, I mean, I would say Everything's Gonna Be All Right, which was the Father MC song that he did in Volume 2. If you haven't seen Volume 2, make sure you check that out.
This is something I'd like to know as well. You're not saying?
The real answer is I don't know.
Okay.
But I hope sooner than later. I've been releasing a Pass the Mic every 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
There was one in July, one in August, skip September, one in October, and one in November. So it's been every month or two. So I could say that I'm likely going to stay on that schedule.
One thing I like about you, is that, like me, you like to keep everything a surprise. People don't keep surprises anymore. And I believe in mystique. I always have. I think it's getting lost in, you know, the more current years. It's important, and surprises and secrets are also very important when it comes to this stuff. You mean? So
Damon, imagine convincing a network that we're not going to promote the artists who are on a show.
I know, right? Exactly. Yes.
And when I said that, they're like, what do you mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I said, we can't promote the artists. And they're like, yeah, that was your virtual show, but like on an award show now you have to promote those. And I'm like, no, we can't do that.
Good for you.
And they said, well, how are we going to promote the show? And I'm going to say, and I said, we're going to promote the future by promoting the past. And that's what we did. Good.
No, that is, listen, amazing. Congratulations for that one. Hold on. There's more questions coming in. Hold on. Would be your, this is kind of,
who would be the R&B list from new artists?
Yeah, what new artists do you like?
Oh, okay. Like Okay, so if I were to, I think what you meant is, I mean, I'll make up more to the question. If I were to do a pass the mic of present day R&B artists, that's easy. Bruno Mars, The Weeknd, Anderson .Paak, Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah, start with those four for sure.
Okay, that's a great list. Here's a good one. How much time do you put into Pass the Mic shows?
So the first 3 volumes took me 4 to 6 weeks. That's all inclusive. That's creating the playlist, that's recruiting the artists, filming, editing, tweaking, OCDing, everything.
That's lifetime. That's forever.
I want to trademark that verb, OCDing.
Yeah.
The BET special, literally front to back, was less than 21 days.
Oh, because you had more people involved, more help, right?
Well, I had more people involved. I don't think that was necessarily why it was faster. It was faster because it had to be faster. We had a limited amount of time to meet the deadline to make this award show night. And also there were fewer artists because of the time limits of television.
Josie asked a good question. Josie said, can he have your autograph?
Is that Josie Sejour?
Yeah, you're Josie, our Josie.
I just want to talk about Josie Sejour for just literally 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So everyone out there, Josie Sejour is one of my best friends in the world. I met him through Mark Ronson. He was Mark Ronson's best friend and right-hand man back in the day, back in the day.
Yep.
Josie would get me into clubs in New York City. So long ago, I remember calling him from payphones to come downstairs to the street. So, like, I don't know, did I have a cell phone? I don't even remember. And he has been really just a #1 supporter with Pass the Mic from day one, telling me, like, you know, like how meaningful this could be, and you know what a great emotional reaction it could bring to people. And I love you, Josie. Well, what is something on your list you still want to accomplish?
Hold on, before you go on. Josie is just a very supportive person across the board. He's also been very supportive to me, you know, and many other people. So I want to say that just he's a supportive person. So, you know, so
yes, we love him.
Love you, Josie.
So what is something I still want to accomplish? I want to release more music. You know, for those watching who don't know, I've released, you know, a handful of records, DJ Cassidy records featuring other artists. And actually, through making those records, I met a lot of the iconic artists who have taken part, particularly in Volume 1. Earth, Wind & Fire, Ray Parker Jr., Kool and the Gang, they all played on my early records because I wanted to capture the spirit of their music. So, you know, I really spent 2020, or at least the latter half, focused on Pass the Mic. And as 2021, you know, comes around the corner, I'd like to focus on releasing some new music because I feel very inspired.
Good. I do too. This one you may not answer, but I would like to know the answer if you want to answer it.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
And
you're not saying.
Well, I personally would say who. I'm trying to think if there's someone I could say that I think wouldn't, to where the person wouldn't care. I don't mind saying.
Yeah. You know,
I'm not going to say just because I respect the privacy of my heroes and everyone that turned me down, so to speak, I still hope to have in the future. And, you know, not everyone is going to be available for you when you call. And I don't expect anyone to say yes to participate. So when anyone says yes, I'm blown away. And when anyone says yes, I'm flattered. So I think the few people that I haven't been able to capture yet, I think I will in the future.
Yeah. All right. I think that about
those questions, though. Thank you, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for answering questions, guys. For asking questions. Thank you for answering questions, Cassidy. I think that about wraps it up. So into our annual Pass the Mic recap. Can't wait to do it.
I love it. I love how you call it annual, but we've done it 5 times in 4 months. 4 times in 4 months.
Well, I think you brought up a good point. I'm thinking.
It's monthly, not annual. It's monthly.
Oh yeah, annual. You're right. Well, it's annual because they do it every time after the recap.
No, annual means yearly.
Oh, okay, my bad. So,
wait, I have one question for you.
Okay.
This is going to be fun.
Okay. I'm listening.
Who are your top 5 artists you'd like to see in future episodes of Pass the Mic of any genre or era?
Wait, you're asking me who are the top 5 artists I'd like to see?
That you would like to see me have on a future episode. They don't all have to be on one episode. It could be multiple genres, eras.
Grace Jones.
Love it.
Hold on. Grace Jones. Let me see. Very good question and very difficult. I would love to see Mick Murphy doing The System. You're in my system and don't disturb this groove.
Love it.
I would love to see Madonna doing like Everybody or, Holiday or something, like Everybody or one of those old songs. Get into the groove, Madonna.
Love it.
I would love to see Little Kim doing Queen, which, I could do Diddy's part. I've done it many. Actually, I'd love to see Diddy and Little Kim together. That'd be great together. And I would love to see one more. This is so hard. I'd like to see another hip hop one where you have like LL doing it and like a bunch of different, those kind of people doing, maybe, oh no, you don't be good. LL would be great. But having Snoop and Dr. Dre doing like their kind of stuff would be great. And then I think Diddy doing some kind of like No Way Out stuff.
All right. So Puffy and Kim, Snoop and Dre, Grace Jones, and The System. I love them all.
Madonna doing Into the Groove.
Oh, Madonna.
I mean,
that's
a
no-brainer.
Like too limited. I can go on to 30. You could ask me 30, but we'll stop at 5. So.
Well, I love those all. Stay tuned.
Oh, exactly. I can't wait for you to ask me to co-host one of them and be dancing like this the whole time. I'm like,
I love it.
That's my role. But
I love it. Like 3 boxes at all times.
You rudely have not asked me yet, but anyway.
I love it.
Cassidy, I want to just thank you for doing this. I know you had a busy week. But you very passionate. I feel very passionately about Pass the Mic. I support it wholeheartedly. It's such an amazing thing. The fact that you're my good friend, I get to celebrate you, but the fact that it's so amazing really is like a separate thing in my head. I would love it if it was somebody I didn't know being involved. I would support it the way, I do, but because it's you, it's like a triply special to me. And what you're doing is, again, so pure, so authentic, so celebrating of culture and music and all things that I love. And I'm just so happy for you, proud of you, and grateful that you're doing it. So love you.
Thank you. All that back to you. I cannot thank you enough. I feel your sincerity. I feel your enthusiasm from the first time you called me and texted me after Volume 1, totally unsolicitedly, totally surprised by what you had just seen. And let me tell you something. It feels great reading the comments, as I said every night. It also feels great hearing it from people who you've known your whole career. And I've known you my whole career. You've seen me grow. You've watched me grow. You've supported me. You've encouraged me. You've introduced me to people. You've built me up. You've gotten me gigs when I needed them. You were always there. And for you to feel so passionate about something new that I've done is incredible. I love this show you've done. It's been the most consistent thing that I've seen. It's like every day or almost every day, and you've interviewed the coolest people. And I look forward to this, really. This is like the one interview I can't wait to do because it really speaks to the heart of who I am and where I come from. So I love you and thank you.
I love you too. I thank you for doing this, and I can't wait to see the next Pass the Mic and then recap it. So
me too.
All right. Bye, Cassidy. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you.